Hello everyone, welcome to LuckScout Economy News. Buckle up, buttercups, because the economy's gone full tilt-a-whirl again, and we're here to make sense of this dizzying ride. Today, we're diving into the most important economic news from the past 24 hours. From inflation anxieties to market mayhem, we'll break down the complex world of finance with a healthy dose of humor and, hopefully, a sprinkle of clarity. So, grab your economic decoder rings and let's get right to it. Alright folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the inflated elephant in the room, inflation. The US Consumer Price Index, CPI, for May is due out, and let me tell you, the anticipation is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal left on the counter overnight. Economists are biting their nails, investors are clutching their portfolios, and the rest of us are just trying to figure out how many jobs we need to juggle to afford a gallon of milk. The Fed, meanwhile, is like a hawk eyeing its prey, ready to swoop in with another interest rate hike if inflation doesn't play nice. Now, I'm no economist, but even I know that raising rates too quickly can send the economy into a tailspin. It's a delicate balancing act, like trying to parallel park a clown car in a hurricane. The big question is, will the Fed slam on the brakes or gently ease off the gas? Stay tuned, because the answer could have major implications for your wallet. Now, let's zoom out and take a gander at the global markets, where things are about as predictable as a toddler hopped up on sugar. Geopolitical tensions are simmering like a pot about to boil over, economic data is flashing red like a disco floor, and central banks around the world are scrambling to get a grip on inflation. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a gyroscope in a blender. The European Central Bank, ECB, for instance, is facing a real pickle. They're trying to rein in inflation without triggering a recession, which is like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Meanwhile, China's economy is sending mixed signals, leaving investors wondering if it's a bull or a bear in disguise. And let's not forget about the ongoing war in Ukraine, which is throwing a giant wrench into the global supply chain. It's a tangled web of uncertainty out there, folks, and navigating it requires nerves of steel and a whole lot of antacids. Let's turn our attention now to the US labor market, where the situation is a bit of a head-scratcher. On the one hand, we've got unemployment near historic lows, which sounds like a good thing, right? Well, hold your horses. While it's great that people are finding jobs, this tight labor market is also putting upward pressure on wages. And guess what happens when wages go up? That's right, inflation gets another shot of espresso. It's a classic catch-22, like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The Fed is watching the labor market like a hawk, looking for any signs of overheating. If wages continue to climb, it could force them to raise interest rates even more aggressively, which, as we discussed earlier, could have some unpleasant side effects. So, while a strong labor market is generally a good thing, it's all about finding that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone where employment is high but inflation is under control. It's a delicate balancing act, and right now the scales seem to be teetering. And finally, let's talk about everyone's favorite combustible commodity, oil. Oil prices have been on a roller coaster ride lately, soaring to dizzying heights one minute and then plummeting back down the next. It's enough to give you whiplash, or at least a severe case of economic anxiety. Several factors are driving this volatility, from geopolitical tensions, yes, them again, to supply chain disruptions to good old-fashioned greed. Now, I'm not saying that oil companies are intentionally manipulating prices, but let's just say they're not exactly losing sleep over record profits. Of course, high oil prices have a ripple effect throughout the economy, driving up the cost of everything from gasoline to groceries to airline tickets. It's like a game of economic dominoes, with each toppling domino pushing up prices for consumers. So, the next time you're filling up your tank and wincing at the price, just remember that you're not alone. We're all in this oily mess together. So, there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of today's most pressing economic news. We've covered everything from inflation anxieties to market gyrations to the ever-volatile world of oil prices. It's a lot to digest, I know, but the key takeaway is that the economy is a complex and constantly evolving beast. Keep an eye on these developments to stay ahead in understanding economic trends. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.